You're listening to The Content is King with Kenneth Baucum.
All right, good morning and welcome to the first episode of The Content is King here on your favorite podcast platform. Here recording today the very first of hopefully many episodes to help bring some additional how-to, some education, some helpful information to your lives about how to use different pieces of equipment, whether it be for podcasting or for photography, for videography, right? I'm going to provide you some how-to, some demonstrations. We're also going to do some interviews and case studies and have a great time just really learning how to do a better job with creating and delivering our content. And it's not just going to be me talking. We're going to bring on some great guests as well, people who know more than me in the world of how maybe social media works and how marketing works, things like that, right? So I'm gonna share with you what I know, and then I'm gonna bring on some great guests to share with you what they know to help you turn your content into your crown here on The Content is King. We're hoping this will be the ultimate podcast for you, whether you're an aspiring or an established content creator. Passionate about mastering the art of storytelling. That's definitely an area I'm always trying to grow. I want to help you master that art of storytelling through your photo, your video, and your podcast. Each episode, I hope that you will join me as we delve into the strategies, the tools, and the techniques that make this content not just compelling, but king. And with a mix of interviews and case studies, as I mentioned, some hands-on advice from leading professionals in the industry, I want for this podcast to be your go-to resource for turning your creative ideas into impactful realities. So whether you're looking to just sharpen your skills or find inspiration or understand the latest trends, The Content is King is here to help you guide you on that journey. So I hope that you'll enjoy. I'm actually hoping that even as you listen to this podcast, you'll make some notes and maybe send me a message or reply in the comments if you're on YouTube watching. And let me know what it is that you would like to see, what you'd like to learn first from this show. So this being our first episode, we're here trying out one of the local studios here in the Tulsa area, and we've got kind of the lighting set up, and we've got some different things going on here, kind of making some notes about how we want to make the show look itself going forward, because our content here is important as well. And I thought what I might do is maybe even just walk you through this particular process of how I do things, and maybe it'll work for you. Maybe you can find some things that you like and even build on that as well. And so certainly looking forward to just helping you grow, helping myself grow, helping all of us as small business owners, entrepreneurs, and content creators just be able to do a better job with our content. So just for fun today, I'm going to go ahead and brag just a little bit on this particular studio. They are using all of my favorite equipment. So you'll see here, I'm talking into the fabulous Rode PodMic. This is the PodMic that just has the XLR output. It's not the PodMic Plus that also has USB. So if you're doing just your own thing, one person sitting at a desk, the USB version might be a little bit better for you. But I like this one. I'm a sucker for some good condenser microphones. And so, got a great boom arm here to support it. An excellent studio, which since I'm by myself, I just have the one camera focused in on me, but there's three other chairs here, room for plenty of guests, and look forward as we build out this podcast. We may have some other people here with us or in different locations because the equipment is different everywhere we go. Things work a little bit differently in different places. So one of the things that we'll be teaching throughout this series as part of our educational content is how to adapt, how to jump on those changes and be able to move forward with your show, whatever it may be, whether it's the photo, again, the video, the podcast, whatever it is. I want to help you be able to transform your content in your crown, just like I mentioned before. And so, like I said, I love this Rode equipment. I love kind of how it all works and plays together. And you make so many different customizations and things too. So if you've got questions about those, feel free to reach out and ask me. I would love to be able to help you. All right. So one of the things I want to jump on first is, sometimes it's easy to talk about other people's problems. Sometimes it's easier to talk about your own problems. So I'm just going to be totally honest with you today. I'm one of those people that I had to just I had to book the studio time in order to help push myself forward and make sure that I got this podcast off the ground. So here we are. I got all the way to the studio and I didn't even have my storage card with me for this particular recording. So I get to post-produce this episode instead of poking the buttons and really kind of doing it live as I usually prefer to do. So adding in my intro and my outro, even coming up with some of the bullet points on my computer, just kind of did that right before the show. It works out a whole lot better if you get to pre-plan things a little bit more. In this particular case, we're just kind of running with it, right? So let's talk about a few different things when it comes to kind of building your own podcast. I actually gave a talk a few weeks ago at one of our local camera stores here in the Tulsa area, a podcast primer, and helped people kind of understand how they can build their own content. And I want to walk you through some of those steps as well. I feel like that may be helpful to repeat here. And then in our subsequent episodes, I'm going to take each of these areas and dive a little bit deeper into each one as well. All right? All right, so as we dive into building your own podcast, there's a few things that I would love to share with you. And I'm going to kind of break this down into maybe 4 different sections. And I'll add the 5th one. People usually expect the 5th one when it comes to a live talk, the good old Q&A there in the number 5 spot. But I'm going to give you a twist on that, especially because it's a recorded podcast. We're not doing it live today. But also because there's a little bit more than just asking the presenter questions. And so I'll share that here in a moment. So here's what you can expect from this particular podcast primer. And again, we're going to dive in. We're going to go a little bit deeper on each of these subjects as well in subsequent episodes. But I want to share with you a little bit about podcasting fundamentals. Sometimes people get excited and maybe they buy too much equipment or they buy stuff before they really understand what it is they're looking for and what would help them build a great podcast. So I'm going to point out some of those things when it comes to those essentials. We will talk about the gear guide as well. So it's not just the gear that you're recording with, but the podcast fundamentals, that first section is going to cover really some of the environmental things as well, with how to build a show and what kind of an environment you'd want to record in. So those fundamentals, the gear guide, we'll start to dive into some of the technical know-how, and that's probably going to be the part that expands the most throughout the course of this entire series as I go into detail on, what is the Rode PodMic and how does it work and what are some great settings you can use with it. We're recording today on a Rodecaster Pro 2, and why do I like that board over maybe the Duo or some other brands? What kinds of things headphone-wise, are great. I'm recording today on the NTH 100s. There's another version that's new since I bought these, the NTH 100M. It includes a built-in microphone. Is the microphone good? Is it not good? We'll find out together. And we're not just going to talk about Rode equipment. They're not paying me to say all this. We'll talk about all kinds of fun things. Actually, I think probably a first for me is we're recording on a Sony camera today. I am very much a Canon fan, but we're recording on Sony, and that's totally okay. Not a problem with that at all. Shooting through a Blackmagic switcher. And see, here you've got me talking about gear, and I wasn't even ready to do that yet. That third section, is going to be technical know-how, and I'll tell you everything you need to know about all this fun equipment. We'll deep dive into it. We'll talk about why I like some brands over others, and keeping in mind that's just a personal opinion. And then, of course, number 4, building a great show. And really, that's what kind of the whole podcast is going to be about, is these last 2 things, the technical know-how, because I love sharing that kind of knowledge, and then also the building a great show, which really translates to all of your content creation. What makes the story compelling? How do you set that hook and draw in your viewers? So we're going to have all kinds of fun with all of those things. And then, of course, the Q&A. My favorite part about the Q&A is how do you get those questions answered? When you're here on the podcast with me, I'll try to answer questions. If we do something live, I'll make it where you can call in and we can figure all this stuff out, or you can text me live while we record and make it all happen. But what about when I'm not around? Who do you ask? I'm going to provide a lot of different resources for you, people that you can reach out to, websites you can search, and of course, there's going to be many communities. There's communities around the actual equipment. There's a Rode user community. There's communities for all kinds of different manufacturers. If you use a Canon camera, there's communities for you, Facebook groups and LinkedIn and wherever else, right? So encourage you to take advantage of all of those things and enjoy the art, the journey of creating your art, right? And that's really what it's all about. If you're the kind of person that loves content creation, it really is about that journey, isn't it? You enjoy getting in and digging into all those little details, the things that make your story click. Maybe you're helping out other businesses. You might really enjoy working with those businesses to find out what is their brand voice, how do they work, and then being able to make that come together. So we're going to talk with all kinds of people from the industry. I've got some folks lined up that build video and commercials for a living. I've got photographers lined up. I've got, I think, even one of our local camera stores, and maybe we'll talk to some other vendors as well. They can kind of share what kind of equipment they have and what kind of trainings that they provide. And then we'll also have, let me think who else it was, social media managers, and kind of how they build their business. We're going to talk to everybody and help you turn your content into your crown here on The Content is King with your host, Kenneth Baucum. And hopefully I put on a great show for you, kind of showing you how this can all go together and giving you some great demonstrations. Of course, from time to time, you'll also see links, whether it be in the show notes or the description below. Those links would be affiliate links. I certainly would love your support on this show. We're also going to provide an option for you to have some subscriber-only premium content. So as we do go into the deeper dives, if that's your thing, I'd love for you for just a few dollars a month to be able to support the show and help me be able to grow it. The more we can bring in that way from a revenue standpoint, it helps us get access to more equipment, better guests and speakers and people like that can help us out. It's not just something for my pocketbook, although certainly I've got bills to pay as well. But I'm just trying to bring you the best content possible so that we can learn and grow together. So I'm super excited about that. I'm super excited about going on this journey with you. This first episode is going to be just a little bit shorter than some of the others. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here and look forward to chatting with you again in the future here on The Content is King.
Thank you for listening to The Content is King with Kenneth Baucum. For subscriber-only premium content and bonus episodes, be sure to click the link in the description to join. Now go create and always be learning.